The Real Estate and Mortgage Show, your go-to spot for everything home buying, selling, and financing on News Talk 580 CFRA.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Another week, eh?
Another week and nice and warm out.
Feels like March.
Isn't this crazy?
It's like I'm hoping, March comes real quickly because that's what it feels like.
It's a teaser.
I'm heading off to San Diego tomorrow for a conference, and we're getting apparently 12 to 15 centimeters of snow, so I might be with you guys here in Ottawa. Who knows?
When are we getting that? Tonight?
Tonight,
really?
I believe. Yeah, tonight overnight.
I didn't see that. Totally missed that. Go figure.
So, the beach will have to wait, maybe.
It won't.
No,
we know, Paul. We know.
I'll be there.
Going on a air quote conference.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not like Frank's conferences. Trust me, it's not like Frank's conferences.
So you're not working then? Because I work when I go to conferences.
Dude, I'm in class from 8 to 5.
Wow.
8 to 5. That's
what are you doing awake at 8? That's not like you. That's got to be hard.
That's good.
All right.
You know why it works? Because he's in San Diego, so it'll be 11 o'clock here, so he'll be able to get up. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
All right, so the numbers from the board are out. They were a little delayed because of New Year's coming around, but we got them this week. So first, how was December, and then how did we end 2025?
You know what? I knew you were going to go to the numbers first, so I put my glasses on. I can't wait to take them off because I can kind of see you right now. I can't see Frank. Maybe I should keep them on all the time if I don't have to see Frank.
They're a little thicker, this year, the glasses?
So let me, they're getting a little thicker, Frank. Yes, they are. The eyesight is going.
All right, numbers.
Yeah, so listen, our Q4 was not strong. October was amazing. November was terrible. And December pretty much followed suit as well. The number of sales in December were down 6.2%. Active listings still, it's coming down, but still through the roof compared to 2024. Inventory in December was up to 4.3 months, and the average sale price came down 0.2%. So very, very flat December compared to last December, which we always expect December to be flat. But November and December were not great months, and I'll be honest with you, January hasn't started strong either.
It's been a bit of a slow start.
It's been a slow start. Now, I don't know if it's because the first Monday that everyone went back to work was the 5th of January. Now we're the 10th, so maybe it'll pick up. But the first week of January was not great. So let's look how we finished 2025. Number of sales were up 1.3%. We sold over 13,000 homes this year in the Ottawa Real Estate Board. Our dollar volume was way up at 4.1%, which is great. So the prices are rising. New listings through the roof. Here's a staggering stat. Sales to new listing ratio. Basically, everything that hits the market, what percentage are actually selling? And most people are like, I don't know, 70, 75?
50.
51.5. Only half the homes that hit the market actually sell. Do you think it's important you list with the right people? I think it is.
So what?
Or price it right.
Or price it right, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are the key contributors to that stat? Like, what keeps that 50%?
2, pricing, and, 3, pricing, condition, and really not listening to your realtor or listing with the wrong realtor. You need a marketing plan to get your home sold in today's. And when I talk about 2026 coming up, it's literally on steroids with who you have to list with right now. It has to be the strongest realtors. Your home has to be just top of the line. And you have to listen and have a good marketing plan. Pricing it properly is going to be really, really important in 2026.
Not putting it on, and we'll see if we can get the. You're
let's
not getting the home runs.
No, you're not.
Now, right?
Our average sale price in 2025 was up 2.8%. So we literally finished at just over 700,000 as the average sale price. 2022, we're at 745. We're now at 700. So we have come down, but we're on the uptick, which is good. I mean, going up 2.8% is still fairly.
That's normal. That's normal in Ottawa. Hey, Paul. Can I ask you how many sales in 2025?
Just over 13,000.
What was 2021, that crazy year? Do you remember offhand what the numbers were? How much different?
You know what? I don't know if I have that on me.
We'll get it after the break. Maybe you'll be able to get it. But I wonder how much the sales have come down.
Yeah.
From the peak, because 2021 or 21 would have been the peak, I would think, right? Not 2020, because we had that 2 or 3 months.
21 felt like the peak,
kind of when COVID started, where everything was kind of quiet.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Here's I actually have it right here. That's listings, inventory, sales activity.
Yeah. So
year to date. So in 2015 we really started to ramp up. In 2021, the real estate board sold 17,695 in 2021. And then, of course, 2022, the sales came down, but the prices went through the roof.
Right.
There was only 13,000 and change that year. So we went from 17, almost 18,000 down to 13.
Majority of those were in the first half because the second half is when everything kind of quieted down.
You know, in 2023, there was only 11,000 sales in the real estate board. So, you know, in 2024, we climbed up to, 13.2, and now we're at 13.4. So, you know, we're on the uptick, which is great. But
26?
2026, I do believe our average sale price will be up. But I do believe our number of sales will be up too, but it will be similar to this year. Right. You know, our average sale price will maybe be up, 2-3%. Number of sales, maybe 2-3% as well. You know, the segments of the market, though, we saw the single family home segment really helped our average sale price because that was up 3.6%. Whereas the townhouse market, the number of sales carried the market. They were up 12.7%. But I can tell you what killed the market was the condo market. Like the condo market, the number of sales was down 19.6%.
And that's the final number for 2025?
Yeah.
I know we talked about it in our wrap-up show on the 27th that condos really hurt the market this year, but
took a bath and even months of inventory. So when I say months of inventory, basically if no other home hits the market, this is how long it would take to clear all these homes. So for a single family home, it was 4.3 months, which puts us into a balanced market.
Right.
The townhouse market was at 2.8 months, which puts us into a seller's market.
Slightly sellers
market. And then, slightly sellers, more closer to a balance. Yeah. And then we look at the condo market, 7.9 months. Like that is a strong buyer's market, very strong buyer's market. So, in 2026, I think our townhouse market is going to be the best market again. I think our single family market will follow that. And I think our condo market is we're not in Toronto trouble, but we are not in good shape in our condo market right now. For sure.
What's driving that with the condos? Like what's the people just don't want into condos anymore?
I think first of all, condos now, when builders are building condos, the price per square foot to build a condo is through the roof. Like not Toronto prices, but through the roof.
Yeah.
The biggest variable when you buy a condo is condo fees. Condo fees. You never know what's going to happen. Sure, this $600,000 condo has a condo fee of $600 a month. But guess what? 5 years later, it could be $1,000. You just don't know. And they don't go down. They only go up. So that's the biggest variable. And a lot of people are saying, well, and Frank will tell you, a lot of people are saying, I would rather put that into a mortgage and pay a little bit more to get a townhome that doesn't have condo fees than get a condo that has condo fees. So I think we're going to see the townhouse market. And listen, we do have a question later about the HST rebate, but if that does come in at the end of February, where it looks like it will, we might see the new home builders, their townhouse market go through the roof.
Right.
What will that do to the resale market? I don't know, but we will see the townhouse market being super strong, single family home being decent, balanced. The condo market this year will probably still be in a buyer's market.
So basically it sounds like the townhouse market is now the entry-level market for people coming into the real estate market in Ottawa, where it used to be condos.
It used to be condos. Like. There's not a big difference now, right? Like the average sale price of a townhome ended the year at $536, where the average of a condo was $430 something or $440 something. So, we're only $100,000 off each other. And most people are like, I would rather put more money into a townhome than I would a condo. So,
and what's that $100,000 in a mortgage, Frank? If you're
when you look at condo fees, they count as part of the qualifying process. So, but only 50% of them. But still, I mean, in many cases, you're better off to take that if you have that extra down payment. Your monthly payment will be the same if you bought a townhouse versus a condo without having to have the condo fees. So that's the question. It all depends on where you want to live, because there's certain neighborhoods where you're stuck with a condo versus a townhouse. But, if you're in the outskirts, obviously the townhouse makes sense. But if you want to live downtown, very difficult to find a townhouse, so you're going to be stuck with a condo kind of
or
thing.
Even a single family downtown, you're million, 1.5
100%.
plus. And so
you're not coming into a starter market.
You're not coming into a starter market, so you might have to get into a condo. But just to put a bow on what we talked about, what 2026 looks like, and I've already said it, and I believe I said it in our last show or the show before, that what 2026 is going to look like as far as getting your home sold. I'm telling you right now, 2026 might be the strongest market in the last decade where you have to follow the simple rules of listing with the right agent, the strongest agent, pricing it absolutely properly, the let's try it is out the window, and someone who has a great marketing plan. So you have to price it properly. You have to list with the strongest. You can't just go with the cheapest agent. That is the biggest mistake. And I'm telling you, if you do that in 2026, number of sales that actually, the homes that hit the market that actually sold this year was 51.5. You don't list with the right agent. You're part of that.
49 that didn't sell.
48.5% that didn't sell.
Yeah.
So it's going to be this market will be the strongest in the last decade for that.
Oof. So it sounds like people need to make some really strong decisions about where they're at in their selling process. Basically,
100%. I mean,
if you have to sell, you can't mess around.
You can't mess around. It'll be the strongest market we've seen in a decade for not messing around, by far.
Have a question? Head over to realestateandmortgageshow.com or give us a call at 521-8255, 521-TALK. Well, welcome back to the show, everybody. Just a reminder, if you have a question and you don't feel comfortable calling in, head over to realestateandmortgageshow.com and you could submit your question there. Frank and Paul will answer them as quickly as they can, and then we'll read them on the air on the next episode, next show. Sorry.
Next episode.
Still
going with episode. You know,
I
like the episode thing.
I really stuck on that at
thing.
the end of the year this year. I don't know.
You know what? You know what it is? The reason is because he's such a radio star now. He thinks he should be a TV star and talk about episodes. Yeah.
Wait. It's because we introduced the podcast that we're going to have coming up later this year, and I'm thinking about episodes in terms of the podcast.
Yes.
Plus, we're a little bit of a sitcom, actually. You know,
it is a bit of a sitcom.
We're a little bit of a sitcom. So.
That is correct.
All right. Speaking of callers, we've got Ann in Barhaven on the line with a mortgage question. Ann, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Morning, Ann. You there?
Oh, hi. Yes.
Good morning.
Great show. Love it. Whenever I can hear it, I tune in.
Well,
I have a question about mortgages in terms of we're looking at trying maybe to buy a multi-generational or buy a bungalow and turn it in like a basement for our daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering in terms of mortgages, is it? I was thinking, I was doing some reading. If it has its own entrance, it would probably be like in a different category of mortgage, or would that be like 2 units?
Well, it's not. So legally, you have to see what the municipality would allow it to be zoned as. Now, you know, if you have your daughter living there, you know, if your daughter's living there and it's part of the family and you have a basement, like many homes who have a basement, then that's okay. You don't have to meet any bylaws. So I think you have to decide which direction you want to go in. If you're going to be charging her rent and you're going to claim it as rental income, you could still have it as your primary home and just, you know, an element of rent. You don't have to follow some of the laws that, you know, if it's a separate unit with a separate entrance, then you need to pass the fire code. So you need to go through a few more steps to make it a legal 2-unit. But from a mortgage standpoint, it really doesn't matter unless you need the rental income to qualify for the mortgage. That's the only difference would be, is that if you need the rental income to qualify to get the mortgage, then it needs to be a loan standing unit. It can't be part of the house kind of thing for a traditional mortgage.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
So,
and I guess that's sort of where the second part of my question would be, where I thought it would be for Paul, was, you know, is it better to look, because we're starting to look like we can't really renovate the place we're in. And so is it better to look for a place that already has something, or, you know, with renovation costs being so high, is it better to find something that has a possibility to renovate? Like, I know it depends on what you find, but say just taking standard bungalow and converting a basement versus a unit that's already there.
You know what? It'll be a bit of a struggle to find a unit that's already there, but they're starting to become more popular. So my advice would be, yes, I would probably look for something that has the unit there rather than have to do it yourself. There's a lot of hoops that you have to run through, and there's a lot of cost associated with that. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out, but I would probably say finding something that has that in the basement would be ideal. Absolutely ideal. One, you can throw that in your mortgage, right? Whether if you have to renovate it, a lot of that cost is coming out of your pocket or some sort of loan or something. So if we could find something for you that has that, that's ideal.
Right. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Ann. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
yeah,
Ann.
I love, you know, my mom and dad, when they bought the property that they're in right now, my mom's still there. Obviously, my dad's passed away. But they bought this bungalow in Barhaven that had a walkout basement, so all of a sudden it didn't feel like a basement. So you walk in the garage and being Italian, they built a kitchen down there, and they have a family room down there. So that's
course
really
there's a
where we
kitchen.
hung out. Every time we went to visit, we'd go in the garage door, and then you can walk out into the backyard, and then they have the upstairs where they have their other kitchen and the bedrooms. And so, those are, I look at a property like that, and I say, what a great property for, maybe some parents that have maybe a kid that's still hanging around where they have their own living space downstairs, and, they've got their own kitchen, that they can look after themselves and cook for themselves. So I'd like to see builders build those types of properties, I think, moving forward, because I think we're going to need them. I was on TV this week, and I got asked about, so what would you say to a first-time home buyer? And the producer said, your eyes went because I don't have a good answer for first-time home buyers. It's still very expensive to get into a new home. Your down payment you have to come up with is more. It's very difficult to save up the down payment. Unless you have a family member to help you, it's very difficult. And just as difficult still to qualify for that mortgage because there's still a stress test, and we're having to add 2 percentage points. So, if we can get homes built that have these elements to them where an adult kid can maybe stick around there and give them a chance to be able to save their down payment and get their careers up and running so that when they're ready to buy. A statistic came out, the average first-time home buyer now is 35 years old. So it's changing. The other thing that I think we're going to push forward as our association, National Association, is I think we're going to push the government to go back to 40-year amortizations. We think that the cost of living, we think we need to change the mindset. It used to be, hey, try to retire without a mortgage.
Right.
I think we need to change that a little bit and say, hey, try to retire, and if you have a mortgage on it, it's a reasonable enough mortgage that you can still either make a decision, either continue to stay in the home, or you're going to have so much equity built in the home in that 20, 30 years until you retire that you're going to be able to sell that home and you've got lots of money to fall back on for your retirement age.
Or reverse mortgage,
so
like
Frank,
we talked about
reverse
before.
mortgage.
So, Frank, builders are actually building very differently now. I know during COVID, builders were listening to what people needed,
Offices,
and that
right?
was offices. They were taking out living rooms and building offices because people were working from home. Well, builders are listening now to affordability, and they're realizing that it's not affordable for some of these first-time home buyers to buy homes. And so they're actually building now instead of building homes with basements, they're actually building them with an SDU, with another unit in the basement. So people can do something like that, or they can buy them and have some rental income in the basement. So builders are actually listening in that way, and they're not just building the standard homes. So which is good, which is really good.
I know there's been a lot of talk about the HST and GST credits and all that kind of stuff. Would that still apply in buying a like with an SDU in the basement, from a new builder?
I can't see why not.
It's a new home.
One of the questions that we did have, and maybe I'll tackle it right now just because we're on that HST credit, was someone was asking, that saying that, he bought a townhome. He knew it was going to be retroactive to May 2025, this HST rebate. Well, it's the GST rebate, but let's really call it the HST because it's going to be the HST. Yeah, it's good. They've tagged together, so it's definitely going to be an HST. It's in front of the Senate. They're coming back in February. We should have an answer by end of February, I hope, fingers crossed. And he was saying, basically, I bought this home knowing it was retroactive, knowing I would eventually get this rebate, and I was counting on that rebate. Is that rebate still going to happen? As of right now, it is still retroactive to May 27th, I think, or 22nd, 27th.
27th, I think,
27th.
was what the number
yeah,
was.
so it is still retroactive to May 27th. Don't quote me on that saying that Paul said this because they could change their mind. But as of right now, it's retroactive to May 27, 2025, that you will get that HST rebate as long as they don't change things. If I was a betting man, I'd put a lot of money on that HST rebate coming in at the end of February or sometime early this year, maybe not end of February, but that should come in, which is going to be really, really good for first-time home buyers buying new product. You go buy a $500,000 townhome, you get a chunk of change off that. You're the math man. How much is off?
13% is $65,000.
Yeah,
so now all of a sudden it's $435 instead of $500. My question to you is, I own a townhome, and I've been in it for 2 years, and I think it's worth $500 because my comparable is selling for $500, but they're really only paying $435 for it. how does it impact the value of my home now?
Now, it all depends on how they do that. If it's an HST rebate, or is that money off the price? So, like, if you go to like our Geo warehouse and it shows the price of the home, is it going to show $435, or is it going to show $500 and $65,000 comes cash in your pocket? It's like, I don't know how they're going to do that. But
I'm saying though is if I'm looking to buy a house, I'm looking to buy a townhouse, and there's a builder there, and there's a resale, and the builder gives me the rebate, and the resale doesn't give me the rebate. Well, which one am I going to buy? I'm going to buy the builder one, obviously. That being said, I mean, we've always said, hey, when you buy a home from a builder, it's great. You're the first ones in there. But now you got to put drapes in it. You got to fence it. You got to, and it's probably the appliance, or most come with appliances. But there's things you have to add that maybe a resale you don't have to. So
well, actually, one of our speaking of that, I always see things like you got AC, which some builders are doing that now. But appliances, curtains, eaves troughs, and actually, I mentioned that at the meeting, and Dora piped up and said, that's now mandatory in the building code. Like it has to come with eaves troughs,
it should have.
Well,
I was surprised
when Canada for God's sake.
So what happens is anytime you get we got to go in a sec. But anytime you do a home inspection, the home inspector always says the grading is off. It's sloping into the house. You could have some water issues. The reason is because when the house is built new, they have no eaves troughs, and even if they don't have eaves troughs for a year, water drips off and it starts changing the grading, sloping into the house. So now it's mandatory to do eaves troughs, which I think is beautiful.
Have a question? Give us a call, 521-8255, 521-TALK. We'll be right back.